Chapter 30. Adelmo closed the distance between himself and his targets, positioned himself for an attack. With a sudden burst of energy, he lunged forward, executing a powerful diagonal swing. The force of his strike is so immense that it effortlessly slices through a couple of adversaries, causing them to collapse to the ground in two separate halves. Meanwhile, the two individuals standing behind the fallen one suffer a similar fate as their fronts are mercilessly sliced open. The wounds begin to ooze and blood spilled out, creating a gruesome scene. As the opening became lubricated with blood, the internal organs of the injured individuals start to drop out, adding to the horror of the situation. Even though it would have been enough to stop an ordinary person, these zombies defied all odds and continued their relentless march, leaving a gruesome trail of discarded organs with each step. Adelmo takes a cautious step back, his eyes widening as he realizes the organ didn't fall to the ground. Without hesitation, he swings his blade, swiftly decapitating the heads of the undead foes. The battle continued. Blood spurted out from the necks of the zombies, causing them to collapse to the ground in a gruesome display. With a determined look on his face, he swung his weapon at each undead creature that came within striking distance, effortlessly slicing them in half. The zombies fell to the ground in succession, blood gushing out from every part that was separated from their decaying bodies, creating a chilling scene of carnage and destruction. As he took down the final zombie, he struggled to catch his breath before standing up fully to survey the devastation around him. The once peaceful land now resembled a war zone, with death and destruction as far as the eye could see. Body parts were scattered everywhere, blood splattered painted the ground, and the stench of decay filled the air. Overwhelmed by the gruesome sight before him, he could hardly believe his eyes. The scene is like something out of a nightmare, a chilling reminder of the horrors that have unfolded in this once serene place. The putrid odor emanated from the decaying zombies was almost unbearable, a stark contrast to the normal scent of death. Despite the overwhelming despair that surrounded him, he knew that he must stay strong and push forward. The battle may be won, but the war against the undead was far from over. With a heavy heart, he prepared himself for the next challenge, knowing that he must continue to fight for survival. The wind swiftly whisks away the foul smell, bringing a sense of relief to him, only for him to realize that the stench was simply a part of how they smell. Suddenly, more zombies emerged from the same direction as the wind that took away the odor. At that moment, he couldn't help but think to himself, "What bad luck! Will I ever get a moment of respite?" Adelmo charged toward his enemies, abandoning his bag in his haste. As he neared them, he skillfully wields his sword, cutting through his foes with precision, causing them to fall to the ground in two pieces. With each adversary that approached, Adelmo swiftly severed the nearest limb, sending blood splatters and the body part dropping to the ground. Finally, he delivered the fatal blow by swiftly slicing through their necks, effectively decapitating them and ending their lives with determination. Out of nowhere, the lifeless bodies plummet to the ground, causing a chilling sensation to creep up his spine. As if fate had a twisted sense of humor, the pungent odor wafts through the air once again, assaulting his senses. In that fleeting moment, a realization dawns upon him. This foul stench serves as a warning, a signal to others that danger lurks nearby, or worse, that death has claimed its victims in this very vicinity. Without wasting another second, Adelmo swiftly changed his course, fled in the opposite direction to evade any further encounters. His heart pounded in his chest. He clutched his bag tightly, determined to keep moving, to keep running, as if his life depended on it. As the wind suddenly strengthened, it blew in the same direction that he was sprinting toward his hotel. Just as he reached the entrance, more individuals appeared from around the corner, causing him to come to a stop. They all paused and fixed their gaze on him, creating a tense moment. Adelmo felt the pressure of the situation. He knew he must remain calm and not give them any excuse to try and enter the building. With determination in his eyes, he stood his ground, mentally prepared to confront whatever might come his way. The adrenaline coursing through his veins, he braced himself for a potential confrontation, ready to defend his territory if necessary. The standoff continued, each party silently assessing the other, waiting to see who would make the first move. Exhausted and out of breath from his frantic run, he dropped his heavy bag to the ground and tightly gripped his sword, preparing for the impending onslaught. As he scanned the area, he noticed a growing number of adversaries converging on his position, causing a surge of panic to course through his veins. Doubt crept into his mind, uncertain if he possessed the strength and skill to overcome this overwhelming horde. The sight before him was daunting, as he counted not just a few, but dozens of these relentless creatures closing in on him. With each passing moment, their numbers seemed to multiply, intensifying the gravity of the situation. Determined to defend himself, he mustered every ounce of courage and unleashed a series of swift and calculated strikes with his sword. The blade sliced through the air, severing limbs and sending body parts flying in a gruesome display of violence. Blood splattered in all directions, painting a macabre scene of chaos and carnage. Meanwhile, the commotion drew the attention of curious onlookers peering through the windows of nearby hotels. Their eyes widened in disbelief as they witnessed Adelmo's relentless assault on the encroaching zombies. With each swing of his sword, he became a force to be reckoned with, decimating any undead creature that dared to come within his reach. The bravery and skill displayed by Adelmo in the face of such overwhelming odds left the spectators in awe as they bear witness to a true battle for survival.